Namaste everyone. Welcome to Physio Vitals. I am Dr. Ankita Sawant and today's video is on radial ulnar joint. So, in features, we'll first see the radial ulnar joint. Features: the radius and ulnar are joined by each other at the superior and inferior radial ulnar joint. Alright, the radius and ulnar are also connected by interosseous membrane, which constitute middle radial ulnar joint. So we have superior and inferior radial ulnar joint. This is radius, this is ulnar. This is the superior joint, this is the inferior joint. Here we have the interosseous membrane which brings together the radius and ulnar bone. Alright, we'll see the type now. It is a pivot type of synovial joint. Alright, pivot because it has a rotatory movement. Then moving further to the articular surface. In first we'll see the superior articular surface, in which the circumference of the head of the radius takes part. Then fibrous ring formed by the formed by the radial notch of the ulnar. See here in this diagram, this is the head of the radius. All right, now the this thing fibrous ring formed by the radial notch of the ulnar. This is the radial notch of the ulnar, so that articulates, and the annular ligament also takes part. So this whole forms the superior radial ulnar joint. Now we'll move further to the inferior radial ulnar joint. In inferior radial ulnar joint, there is head of ulna. So this is head of ulna and ulnar notch of the radius. So this is ulnar notch of the radius. So this two forms the inferior radial ulnar joint. Alright, so this was superior and inferior radial ulnar joint. Moving further to the ligaments. In ligaments, first we'll see this superior radial ulnar joint. The annular ligament, main is annular ligament. It forms 4/5 of the ring, the osteofibrous ring. Okay, so annular ligaments forms the 4/5 of the ring, within which the head of the radius rotates. So there is this ring within which, inside that, the head of the radius rotates. All right. It is attached to the margins of the radial notch of the ulnar. It is attached to the, as we have seen in this is the radial notch of ulnar, so that ring is attached over there and is continuous with the capsule of the elbow joint above. Alright, the quadrate ligament. Now we are still in superior radial ulnar joint. It's ligament. So the quadrate ligament extends from the neck of the radius. Here, this is the neck of the radius. So the quadrate ligament extends from the neck of the radius to the lower margin of the radial notch of the ulnar. We have the radial notch of the ulnar here. So it extends like this. Alright. Moving further to the inferior radial ulnar joint ligaments. So in inferior radial ulnar joint ligament, the capsule surrounds the joint inferiorly. The weak upper part is evaginated by the synovial membrane to form a recess in front of the interosseous membrane. So basically the capsule is around the joint in the inferior radial ulnar joint. Now we'll see the triangular. See, this is the triangular fibrocartilage. Alright. Now the apex, this is the apex part. This is the styloid process of ulnar. The apex of the triangular fibrocartilaginous articular disc is attached to the base of the styloid process of the ulnar. Okay. So this is the apex, and base here we have radial base is attached to the lower margin of the ulnar notch of the radius. Alright, moving further now to the blood supply. So blood supply of the superior radial ulnar joint is by anastomosis around the lateral side of the elbow. Now in inferior radial ulnar joint, anterior and posterior interosseous artery. So this was all about the blood supply. Now the nerve supply of the superior radial ulnar joint is musculocutaneous nerve, which also serves biceps, median nerve and radial nerve. Now inferior nerve supply of inferior radial ulnar joint, anterior and posterior interosseous nerve. The movements now, movements are just two movements, supination and pronation. In supination the palm faces upwards towards the ceiling, and in pronation the palm faces downward to the floor. Now we'll learn about the interosseous membrane. So what is this interosseous membrane? This is the radius and this is the ulnar. Here this oblique fibers, this is the interosseous membrane. So basically it connects the shaft of the two bones of radius and ulnar. It is attached to the interosseous border of the bone. So radius interosseous border has it is medially, and ulnar's interosseous border lies laterally to the ulnar bone. Okay, so attached the interosseous membrane is attached to the interosseous border of these bones. So fibers run downward and medially. This is lateral and this is medial. So downward and medially. That's why this is like oblique shaped ligament. Now superiorly it begins 2 to 3 centimeter below the radial tuberosity. Now see, I'll show you the diagram. This is radial tuberosity. So from here it 2 to 3 centimeter down. So it starts from here like this. This full is our interosseous membrane. Alright. So 2 to 3 centimeter below the radial tuberosity, between the oblique cord and the interosseous membrane, there is a gap for passage of the posterior interosseous vessel to the back of the forearm. As we saw in this diagram over here, there is a gap. So in that gap there is a passage for posterior interosseous vessel to the back, to serve the back of the forearm. Now inferiorly we'll see there's an aperture for passage of anterior interosseous vessel. Here we had posterior, superiorly we had posterior interosseous vessel. Inferiorly we have anterior interosseous vessel to serve the back of the forearm. So we'll see now, here we have a aperture for the passage of the anterior interosseous vessels. Now anterior surface is related to flexor pollicis longus, flexor digitorum profundus, pronator quadratus and the anterior interosseous vessel and nerves. Posterior surface is related to the supinator, abductor pollicis longus, extensor pollicis brevis, extensor pollicis longus, extensor indicis, the anterior interosseous artery and the posterior interosseous nerves. Now we'll see the function of the interosseous membrane. It binds radius and ulnar to each other and provides attachment to many muscles. Alright. It also transmits force applied to the radius to the ulna. Now what happens? This transmission is necessary as radius is the main bone taking part in the wrist joint, while the ulnar is the main bone taking part in the elbow joint. Moving further now to supination and pronation. Rotatory movements of the forearm. It is the rotatory movement of the forearm or hand around a vertical axis. Now see, God pronates to give us blessing and humans supinate to take the blessings from the God. This is the best way to understand supination and pronation. Superiorly and inferior radioulnar joint. Now the movement permits at the superior and inferior radioulnar joint. Now the vertical axis of the movement of the radius passes through the center of the head of the radius above. Vertical axis, I'll show you the diagram. Vertical axis, see this red line over here is the vertical axis. So what happens? It passes through the center of the head of the radius, head of the radius above, and through the ulnar attachment of the articular disc below this. So this is the vertical axis. Alright, vertical axis. Now, however, this axis is not stationary because the lower end of the ulnar is not fixed. It moves backwards and laterally during pronation. Now, if you pronate your hand, this moves backwards and laterally, the axis, and forwards and medially during supination. As a result of this movement, the axis is displaced laterally in pronation and medially in supination. Alright. Now, supination is more powerful than pronation because it is an anti-gravity movement. Supination movement are also responsible for screwing movements of the hand, example tightening the nuts or bolts. So, but morphologically, pronation and supination were evolved for picking up food and taking it to the mouth. So, 50 degrees of each movement is required to perform many routine activities. Pronation is brought about chiefly by pronator quadratus, which is aided by pronator teres when the movement is rapid and against resistance. So, mainly pronator quadratus is the muscle, but when the movement is rapid or against resistance, pronator teres also comes into the action. In supination is brought about by the supinator muscle and the biceps muscle. So this is the pronator teres. This is pronator quadratus. This is humerus. This is radius ulnar. This is in supination. Here it is pronation. This is biceps and supinator muscle for supination. Muscles of supination. Here pronation muscles. Alright. So clinical anatomy now. Supination and pronation during supination like palm is facing upwards. The radius and ulnar lies parallel to each other. During pronation, when the palm is facing towards the floor, radius crosses over the ulna. Now what is synostosis? It is also fusion. When the fusion of the upper end of the radius and ulnar, pronation is not possible at all because the head of the radius does not crosses over the ulna due to synostosis. I hope the video was useful to you all. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.